Hello, hello. Canadian Sasquatch Steve here. Welcome you to another Homebrew Wednesday. So let's kick this off with my plain old pale ale. This was the one that I made as a base recipe for my prickly pear pale ale. It's a very nice, tasty beverage. Cheers. Oh yeah, that's good. So thank you to all my subscribers. I'm now up to 137 of you guys. The rest of you, what are you waiting for? Go ahead, subscribe. Remember, I hit 150, I'm going to hold a contest. So yeah, so there's that. What else? So I've got some footage that I'll show later. This past Saturday I had a mead maintenance day where I went through all my various meads and racked them and filled up their airlocks and such. Also made a new sizer. He's bubbling away right there. Using some Central Market apple juice and a little bit of honey and some US04 yeast on that guy. And of course there's the blood orange with the oak sitting right beside him. And then over here, that's right, because it's time. My camera really does not like to refocus, but this is my SJ Pour 2014 challenge. I got 24 of them labeled and ready to go. I got the other 24 sitting below them, not quite ready yet since they're not labeled. So yeah, so I will take you on a whirlwind tour here, and we will see what we can see. So yeah, it's brew-wise, not much else going on. Just putzing away at the meads right now. I do have my new chocolate braggot bubbling away. I'll show you here, guys, in a minute. So yeah, sunny Texas where it's already in the 80s and the humidity's already in the 200s. So of course, gotta stop off at the garden. Tomato plant doing nicely. Little tiny tomato plant doing nicely. Jalapenos are all doing well, and we got some nice big flowers on these guys. And then right about there, I don't know if you can see it, little tomatillo pod. And then of course all the lettuces are on the outsides. And then we got melons, we got cantaloupes and pumpkins. I don't know which one's which still, and they really need to be replanted. And then my ghost chilies are doing quite well, even though the leaves on this one are getting chewed up. And of course my pineapple, looking pretty good, I guess. I don't know, I've never grown one, so looks good to me. And over on this side we have more lettuces, more tomatillos that really should get planted, and then of course more jalapenos. So yeah, so not much brew-wise going on. Got more clean bottles. These ones have already been prepared and ready to be used, along with all these ones. So I'm definitely not short on bottles. We got this guy here, he's bubbling away. This is my wedding bracket that I'm doing for my friends that are getting married. Oh, hold on a second. I need to take a peek inside here and see what he's doing. So just sit down right there on the tin foil. Oh. There we go. Alrighty. So now I can unscrew it off. Look inside. Look on the lid. It's doing nicely. I probably need to give it a good stir. Get the yeast get the yeast suspended again so it can continue doing its job to the best of its ability. So yeah, not too much going on here. So I'm probably going to cut it short here because, well, I don't really have much else to say. But I do have videos that I took on this weekend, so I will post those at the end here. So thanks again for watching and subscribing. Like, comment down below. Try to get to everybody as soon as I can. And so yeah, cheers. Be sure to have a pint of awesome because I know I will. So here it is, it's Saturday and it's Mead maintenance day, so figured I'd jump into this one right here, which I believe Lermo22 would be interested in, because according to his interview with Tony Yates this past week, he's thinking about doing one of these bad boys. So yeah, there you go. This is a buckwheat sack traditional that I started back in November. So basically it was a 1 gallon batch with 4 pounds of buckwheat honey, and it was very violent fermenter, so I actually lost quite a bit because it was about this much total, and every time I stuck something into it or even touched it, it just violently came out. What we like to call a MEA, or a Mead explosion accident. So yeah, I'll be taking him and putting him into a smaller one here. So this is a 1 gallon, this is a 4 liter. So I'm just going to rack it off into there, and I'll come back for a little sampling of it so we can see what it tastes like. So see you in a bit. So there we go, we've got it racked into the carboy. There's this one. Let's see if we can maybe see what it looks like through the top here. All that sludge down there. All the various particles and stuff that came out of the buckwheat. There you go. Still has a little bit of clearing to go, it looks like, but gorgeous dark amber color. So oh, definitely get the buckwheat smell off of this, and some alcohol. Of course, this is a sack, so it's probably pushing 16, 17, 18%. I've not taken a hydrometer reading. I'm not going to until it's probably been aged at least a year. So I still have a good 5, 6, 7 months before I'm even going to think about it. I probably won't rack this again until at that point either. But yeah, very, very strong buckwheat smell. There's a hint of alcohol in the mouthfeel. Definitely get the buckwheat coming through, and it's sweet. Oh, that's good. Yeah, there's definitely the alcohol heat in that. Just warming you up. There's no fusel flavors or anything like that. It's just you just get the alcohol warmth and the taste of buckwheat is definitely there. Way more mellow than it was when it was first out of the jar of honey. That will be a nice, like a slow sipper in the evening. You just pour yourself a small glass of that and just sip it like a whiskey or something like that. That is, that's pretty good. Yeah. So, quite happy with how that's turning out. So, yeah. Clean up this mess and get on to the next one. So, see you in a bit. So yeah, next up is not so much maintenance, but I do need to maintain this guy to ferment them out. So we'll be making a 4-liter batch, got a 4-liter jug right here, of some sizer. So I'll just try and get some more of this foam out. I know, don't fear the foam, but I don't mind it in my beer, but I don't know, for some reason I have problems with it being in my my ciders and meads. So yeah, so I'll be going about getting this guy ready. So see you in a bit. Alright, so I've added half a pound of honey to that much of the apple juice. I've added, what was that, 1.5 teaspoons of diammonium phosphates and 2.25 teaspoons of Fermented O. That's this one here, organic yeast nutrients. And so I've been put the honey in first, and then I shook, or put the honey in, and then I put some of the juice in there, and I shook the bejesus out of it. Then I just kept adding a little bit more, and then I added the nutrients and shook the bejesus out of it, and added a little bit more juice and shook the bejesus out of it. Now I'm going to be adding some of this guy. Yeah, this camera doesn't do so well at focusing after it's on record, but it's the S04. I'm going to give that a whirl, so I'm going to just put some of him in there. I have way more than I need for this. That should be good. Don't need too much since it is just a gallon. I'm going to put the lid on it and shake the bejesus out of it. And then we're just going to add just a little bit more juice here. Not too much more, because I don't want this too high up, because it will get excited while it's fermenting. So I'm going to leave it at that point right there, just where it's just starting the curve here, because I do know ciders like to get very excited, or at least when I do them, they get very excited. I don't know if it's because of all the nutrients I add, or the yeasts. I don't know. This is my first time using the ale yeast for a cider, so figured I'd give it a shot. Of course, we've got the bung, the airlock. Just kind of fill them up with some air here. It's a little tip I do is I just leave the whole thing together, put in a little bit of star sand, and leave it upside down, and it fills up to about the right spot, and you just plug it in and it is good to go. So that's my sizer that's done. cider being a cider, but instead of sweetened with sugar or no sugars at all, you put some honey in it, and I don't want it to be too strong, so I just put half a pound of honey in. I should get about, I don't know, between 8 and 10%, I think. My last couple have been a little bit stronger, probably pushing 12%, so give this a whirl, see how it works out. I do want to, after my trip to Denver, there was a, one of the places we went to, they had a, what they called a honey cider, and it was carbonated, and it was very light, very crisp, just very refreshing. So after this one, I think I'm gonna give one of those a try, which means I gotta find some light juice and figure out how to cut it down to get it to the ABV that I want, while still retaining the apple juice and the honey flavor. So that'll be the next cider project I do, I guess. So yeah, so that's this one done. And then we're gonna clean up here and move on to the next one. So see you in a bit. And we're back. And this time we've got batch number 7. So this was the 7th batch I've ever made. And it is a blood orange that I made last year. So it's about a year and a half now in the, close to a year and a half now in this jug, and similar to the batch that I bottled a couple months ago. Same batch, just this was the leftovers, and I just haven't gotten around to bottling it, and I'm still feeling a little too lazy to bust out all the bottling equipment. So I'm just gonna rack this guy into this guy and have a sample. So let's see if I can actually set you guys up so you can maybe watch this one. So I got a little bit of the junk in there, but that's alright. You can see what got left behind. That's a whole lot of crud that I didn't need it sitting on. So now we got this one. It's a little cloudy now since it got mixed up a little bit, but of course we come over here and we grab a bung, pop it in, fill up the airlock, a little bit more. Good enough. And in it goes. And it's good. Now for the fun part. So yeah, you can definitely, you're seeing it coming up as green because, well, it's refracting the light off the grass in the back, but it is pretty much a yellow, maybe a slight orange to it. It is blood orange after all. I was quite disappointed with the coloring, but next year, since this year's is also not turning out as blood colored as I'd hoped, but still a lot of alcohol in this one. Yeah, I just get a bunch of alcohol in the nose. There is a faint citrus, orange citrus in there, so it's not too bad. But there's a lot of alcohol. I'm getting a lot of fusels. Oh, I'm getting the honey coming through now. Yeah, definitely getting some honey flavors now. So, yeah, so that's the blood orange one. Yeah, so on to the next one. Cheers. And we're back. this time. Grapefruit Hydromel. Hydromel is a melomel that is a lot weaker than your standard mead. I think this one should be around 6 or 7%. And this one's cloudy in the jug. After I'd racked it, because I picked up some of the sludge, and let's put this guy on here, and you can see the sludge down there. It was probably a good inch thick of just cloudy, fluffy stuff down there. Then we got this guy here, which was the first stuff that I took off, you saw me do, and it is clear as can be. So, oops, let's see here. So on the aroma, I'm getting yeasty. And this is a problem that I had with the sparkling grapefruit. I don't think it was yeasty when I put it into the bottles, but since I fermented in the bottles and they're sitting on quite a bit of yeast cake for that small amount, because they're in 187 ml champagne bottles, so they have quite a yeast cake for something that small. But so I'm wondering if it's not yeast, but some of the phenols from the grapefruit, because I did use the rind and all that. So I don't know. Well, let's give it a taste. Very, very light. That's coming from the fact that it's a hydromel, so it's supposed to be light, a little bit watery. This will do very, very well with some carbonation. Good, very faint hint of the grapefruit in the back of my mouth. And you know that sour when you bite into a pink grapefruit, because that's what I use, those pink grapefruits. A little bit of a sour that causes you to salivate. Getting a little bit of that off of this guy too, so. Yeah, this with a little bit more sweetness to it, and a little bit more sweetness and carbonated will be pretty fantastic, I think. So let's go ahead and grab our bung. And this time I've got the guy in multiple pieces because I just used them from the reusing them now because I'm running low on airlocks, on spare airlocks, so I put him in. I'll try and find the other pieces here. So yeah, so that's the Grapefruit Hydromel, the number 4 batch that of mead that I've ever done. So there we go. And that's pretty much all I'm doing today. I might go through and add some water to my airlocks if they need it, but that is all I am doing for the meads. I do have my wedding chocolate braggot to do some work to, so I may show some video on that. I haven't decided how much trouble that's going to be, because basically what I'm doing there is dumping in 2 gallons of honey, so yeah, that ought to be interesting. I might just video that just because that's a hell of a lot of honey. So cheers for now.